What's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video, and in today's video, as we are heading into 2019, I want to take a look at my top 10 most anticipated PC games of early 2019. So this isn't going to cover the entire year. Rather, I'm putting the cutoff at March 31st of next year. That encompasses the first quarter. And as I mentioned at the top, these are my most anticipated games. You might notice some notable omissions such as Anno. You might notice The Division 2 isn't on here. Just a couple of games that I'm not into. I don't have the same preferences as all of you guys. But whatever the case may be, I think these 10 games do have a large anticipation, or at least a modicum of interest. Or with some of these games, a lot of you guys might not even know about, but I know about them, so I do want to share them with you guys. So without further ado, let's get right into this. Starting things off, I definitely want to mention the Resident Evil 2 Remake. That'll be dropping on January 25th, so one of the more early titles of 2019. And Resident Evil 2, if you guys aren't aware, is received as one of the best Resident Evil games in the franchise, and with this remake, it isn't just a simple remaster. No, this is Capcom building Resident Evil 2 from the ground up, and you can immediately tell that when you look at this game's visual. It's really going to be one of those survival horror games that invokes that element of survival horror. That's something a lot of other survival horror games miss, and just what we've seen thus far, Resident Evil 2 is shaping up very, very nicely. Very excited to try that out again on January 25th. I think that's going to be one title that already has a high level of anticipation, and I do foresee it delivering, maybe even exceeding the high expectations that gamers do have. Moving on from that, a game that we recently got some information about, and the information was very positive in that it's been moved up a week. Metro Exodus was originally scheduled to be released on February 22nd, but the release date was moved up to February 15th. I am so excited for Metro Exodus, and if you're a PC gamer, I feel like you have to be excited for Metro Exodus. Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light are two of the best received games on PC. I've talked very, very highly about them, and those are two games that really accentuate the PC strengths from a technical side. Yes, those games are available on console, but when you look at 2033 and Last Light on PC, it's a whole different ball game with Metro on PC, and I foresee something very similar with Metro Exodus. However, I also do foresee this being a game that will be very, very difficult to run, especially if you're looking to play the game at like 4K. Be prepared to have a pretty good PC for that. But this isn't just a tech demo. Of course, the Metro games are fantastic. They're very atmospheric, single-player first-person shooters. But they nail the single-player campaign, and with Metro Exodus, they look to be raising the bar for the Metro franchise, more open-level design. It's just looking really, really good, and I'm so excited that we're getting the game a week early on February 15th. Moving on from that, I know the next game is going to turn off some of you guys, but I know a large portion of my audience does like Japanese RPGs. And Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition is one that I am so excited for. I originally played Tales of Vesperia back in 2008 when it was originally released on the Xbox 360. A year later, over in Japan, a better version of that game was released on the PlayStation 3. Unfortunately, we never got that version stateside until now with Tales of Vesperia, the Definitive Edition. But more importantly, it's gonna have that extra content the original game was missing. More characters, more voice acting, just more content and a more complete experience. I do have to say, with this game essentially being 10 years old, I know we're getting some additional content. I know it's going to look better, but again, originally released north of 10 years ago, having a $49.99 price point might be a little bit too high, but for somebody like me that's a big fan of the Tales of franchise and Vesperia being one of, if not my favorite in the franchise, but I could definitely understand why some of you guys would wait on a discount. Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition drops January 11th. Moving on from that, another Bandai Namco published game, Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown, will be hitting PC on February 1st. It's actually seeing a little bit of a delayed release on PC versus console. I believe console is getting it a week or two before PC. Whatever, at least it's not like a 7-month wait like we had with Monster Hunter World. Ace Combat 7 is looking really, really good, and if you have not played the Ace Combat titles, I think Ace Combat 7 is going to be a very surprisingly great game for you guys. Ace Combat hasn't really resonated all too much on PC. I know one of them is available on Steam, but I believe it's not all too good of a port. Hopefully they'll get things right with Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown. Bandai Namco seems to be really on point with their PC releases, so I imagine that this will be another pretty good one. I don't know if this is going to be a game that a large portion of gamers are going to go out and pick up on day one for $59.99, but at the very least, one to keep on your wish list, and I do foresee, say, by the summer sale of 2019, that it might be 50% off, and that might be the time to pick up Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown, especially if you're looking for one of those good flight games. I think Ace Combat 7 will have you covered on that. Again, it drops on February 1st. Moving on from that, I want to give a mention to Left Alive. That's coming on March 5th, and I'm so surprised that more gamers aren't talking about this title. It's a new IP by Square Enix. It is set in the Front Mission Evolved universe, but really look for for this to be a new original experience from Square Enix, and the gamers that do know about Left Alive are most often comparing it to Metal Gear Solid. Now, those are very, very big shoes to fill, and I don't know if Left Alive is going to be quite that good, but with Metal Gear taking an absence for now and the foreseeable future, we do need that tactical espionage game for us to delve into, and I think Left Alive can fill those shoes. I don't know if it can replace Metal Gear, but I do think it could be a quality experience in its own right. The gameplay we've seen thus far has looked rather good. I think visually it looks pretty good, and Square Enix as a publisher really needs to establish some new franchises. We've seen how Shadow of the Tomb Raider did from a commercial standpoint. Just Cause 4 isn't faring all too well. I think Left Alive, if it does deliver, this is a game that really can resonate with gamers and really be one of those franchises that Square Enix can build on. We'll find out as it drops on March 5th. Next up, the latest game in a franchise that I'm a big fan of, Devil May Cry 5 will be hitting PC on March 8th. Now, I am a gigantic Devil May Cry fan. I pretty much loved all of the games except for Devil May Cry 2. I even dug DMC Devil May Cry, and that was a game that some people badmouthed because of the change of look and aesthetic of Dante. However, those that played the game really enjoyed it, and it came from Ninja Theory. Those guys are awesome. But now, if the presentation turns you off with DMC Devil May Cry, we have a return to form with Devil May Cry 5, starring Dante, Nero, as well as V, another new character. There was a little bit of controversy with this game with the music, but I think that has been mostly remedied, and I actually did play the demo that was available on the Xbox One, and that's slick as hell. Some people don't even know that a Devil May Cry 5 demo is available on the Xbox One. Yeah, if you do have an Xbox One, make sure to check that out, as it'll give you a taste of the game. We've got some great music. That Devil Trigger song is awesome, and Devil May Cry 5 should be another very notable game in early 2019. It drops March 8th. Another title I see gamers being all over, it's Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. That comes to PC on March 22nd. Now, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, the reason so many gamers are excited for this game is, of course, it's coming from Software, the guys that brought you the Souls games as well as Bloodborne, and Sekiro definitely has some resemblances. It's gonna be a challenging third-person action titles, but of course, it's gonna be a challenging third-person action title, but at the same time, this is its own unique experience. There's a reason why From Software stepped away from Souls for the time being. They wanted to craft something new and original, and that's what we're getting with Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. The gameplay we've seen thus far has looked super slick, and from a presentation standpoint, I love the setting, I love the visuals. I think this is gonna be yet another awesome action game from Software, and given that From Software has already become one of the more notable developers in all of gaming, they're just inherently gonna have a lot of anticipation with all of their game releases. Now, this title is being published by Activision, which that's a little bit interesting, but don't fret all too much. This game will be available on Steam. It's not going to be a Battle.net exclusive. Could you imagine that one? But Sekiro Shadows Die Twice will be hitting PC on March 22nd. Next up, we have a game that not a lot of people are talking about, and that's We the Revolution. That's coming on March 21st, and it's a unique game with a singular art style set in a blood-soaked and paranoid world of the French Revolution, where often you could not tell a friend from an enemy. You're a judge, and you'll have to trudge through this setting, passing sentences, playing a dangerous political game, and doing everything in your power to not be guillotined as an enemy of the revolution. At the end of the day, you will also confront your decisions with your family, and very often they will see it differently. It's a game that really puts you in an ambiguous, morally gray area, which I think is such an interesting aspect of We the Revolution. I really like the look and the presentation it's got going on for it. And again, a game that hardly anyone is talking about, but come March 21st, I do think that this could be a game that ends up surprising a lot of gamers, but we'll see as we get closer to the release. Just be mindful of it, maybe add it to your wish list, and come March 21st, it could be a game that ends up surprising you. Moving on from that, we have the latest game in the Trials franchise in Trials Rising. That's coming on February 12th. Now, this is a game that I think I'm a little bit more personally attached to. I don't know how the PC reception to Trials really is. I know we've gotten a couple of Trials titles on PC, but it's not like the Trials franchise is one of those franchises that the entire PC community is super into. But me personally, I love Trials. I find it a super addicting experience. It's challenging, but it's rewarding at the same time. And of course, with all of the elements that Ubisoft have added in recent Trials games, it just makes it an experience with a lot of customizability. You can create custom obstacle courses. There's gonna be a lot of longevity to Trials Rising, at least from what I can tell. But the release isn't all too far off either, as Trials Rising will be dropping on February 12th. And lastly, I do want to give a shout out to God Eater 3. That'll be coming on February 8th. Now, often God Eater is compared to Monster Hunter, just with a more Japanese anime look to it. And I will say that comparison is on point, and for some gamers that might turn you off from God Eater, or it might invest you more into God Eater as opposed to, say, Monster Hunter, but God Eater definitely has its own flair to it as well. It's got a story that's more in your face, and I do feel like God Eater does traditionally have the better storytelling than Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter's story isn't anything to write home about, and it's not like God Eater is a narrative masterpiece, but at the same time, at least it does have that element. And I will say the gameplay is solid. God Eater 3 is going to add more depth on that side as well, and visually, I do like the presentation style of God Eater. That's why I'm excited for it. I dig Monster Hunter as well, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to find God Eater 3 a relatively enjoyable experience as it drops on February 8th. So that's gonna conclude this video. Those are my top 10 most anticipated PC games of early 2019. Now, of course, there are some notable omissions. Anthem, Anno, The Division 2 as well, and just with PC gaming, a lot of the times you'll have games announced and then they'll release quickly and shortly thereafter the announcement. So this isn't my entire catalog of highly anticipated early 2019 titles, but as of now, this is my top 10 most anticipated of early 2019. I'm definitely interested to hear what you guys think. What games are you excited for in early 2019? Or are you gonna be one of those people that just stays invested into a game that's already been released? Let me know in the comments section down below. If you guys have a request for a future video, obviously you can leave that in the comments as well, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.